The biggest kids orchestra in the country is right here in our capital city. See how it's creating something bigger, bolder, and more powerful than music.
One, two, ready, play.
These instruments are nearly as big as the budding musicians playing them. What they're doing is big too, on every level. Kids Orchestra Executive Director, Jody Anay.
We tap into that area of their brain that they don't always get.
It's the brainchild of businesswoman Nanette Nolan, but it's rooted in something more than music, more than education. It swelled from her desire to build a stronger community from the bottom up.
We purposely mix children because the idea here is that we meet the other people in our community, and so we make that happen with Kids Orchestra, and half the kids get on a bus to go to a different school than they are attending, and so you get to meet your neighbor. 800
K through 5th grade public, parochial, charter, and homeschool children come from 20 different schools to 11 teaching sites, all to learn about music and each other. Claiborne Elementary is one of those.
It has truly been a win-win situation for both the community as well as the school. We both benefit from this collaboration. Our students are learning skills such as perseverance, collaboration, as they learn to play instruments, problem solve, and those are lifelong skills.
Kids Orchestra expanded to Claiborne and several other sites just this fall after winning a generous $600,000 federal grant. It doubled the nonprofit's money, music to everyone's ear.
It not only afforded that we would be able to give the children more music, not just twice a week like our other programs, but 4 times a week. So we could do that, and we could offer the children academic enrichment in an area that needs it most.
In addition to almost a daily hour of music, these kids get an hour of tutoring too.
So I tutor them in math and ELA. I pull small groups because we want to ensure that these students are getting ahead. I help with homework, but we focus mainly on reading and the math skills.
Skills enhanced by music.
Believe it or not, I did a lesson with second graders in multiplication, and it kind of morphed into a fraction lesson, and they were able to understand it because they understood what a quarter note was, what a half note, what a whole note was, and so I was able to actually teach fractions to second graders.
Okay, here we go. Get ready? 1, 2, ready, go.
No one skipped a beat when the historic flood hit just a week into the school year. Were you nervous after the flood?
I was just totally optimistic about it. We didn't think about the challenges. We only thought about how to get things rolling again and get everything back on track.
Even though 100 school buses were no longer rolling and students from flooded Howell Park Elementary relocated to Claiborne, they never lost their rhythm. And Kids Orchestra has never been bigger. It started 5 years ago with 50 kids. In its second year, it had 75. That's when Jody came on board. Her mission was clear.
My board said to me, go get the kids. So I said, okay, we'll go get the kids.
The next year, they had 500 kids.
So it wasn't hard to get the kids?
No, it wasn't hard to get the kids because we got the goods. We've got music.
Jody shares that love of music. She's an opera singer and former music teacher. But like in many schools, she felt the kids weren't getting enough.
One of those ladies pushing the cart around, and I had this big keyboard on top, and the wheel was broken. And, you know, like the kind that you take back in the grocery store because it doesn't work.
Right.
That was me, okay? And so I had this keyboard on top, and I was thinking, what am I doing? This is really hard. I'm teaching 500 kids, you know, music once a week, you know, and it was really defeating because the kids were getting so little music.
Even the little ones get an abundance in Kids Orchestra.
Ready, and sticky, bubble gum, bubble gum, bubble gum. Sticky, bubble gum. Got stuck on your arm.
I get the kindergartners, yeah, I get the babies. Who you would think would be really, you think you would have to really like break everything down, but they're very smart.
Are they limited to what instruments they can play at that young age?
With me, they're getting the foundation of music.
Okay.
Okay, so we're playing like the xylophone. We're playing the percussion, non-pitched percussion instruments like the cymbals, the bells, the triangle. So they're really getting a foundation playing those types of instruments in hopes that they are really learning the skills that where they can move on to the violin and to the cello and the percussion instruments.
From there, in addition to their school orchestra, they can also be part of the Honors Orchestra, the Big Red Orchestra, or the new Kids Orchestra Choir.
This brings all of these kids from all over the city together. It doesn't matter where you live, you know, how much money you make, it doesn't matter. You're all together in the orchestra.
They're in harmony on a grand scale. When this younger generation connects, so do older generations in the audience. It breaks down barriers because we're all guilty of too often staying in our comfort zone.
How many people do you know from the other side of town? How many times have you gone and eaten lunch in a different part of town? How many times have you eaten lunch with someone that doesn't look like you?
Piercing questions perhaps we should all examine. Here, though, music's unique and unifying power mutes the noise of life.
It's like a language that we can all identify with or on some level understand, and so it just helps, you know, cross all kinds of boundaries.
Today, about 2% of elementary kids in EBR Parish are part of the Kids Orchestra. But Jody wants to double that, and the school's offering it.
And that's our plan, is to try to get all the way across East Baton Rouge Parish so that Kids Orchestra is accessible to any child that wants to be in the program.
That'll take additional donations. But she knows she can get the kids.
Kids vote with their feet. So if you have something good, the kids are going to show up, and they do.
Children like Malaysia and Nadia, who are working on their first duet.
What have you learned about what it takes to pull off a duet?
You have to practice each a couple of times, and then you can start like mixing it up together.
I played on the A string and she had played on the D string.
This opportunity gives them an extra layer of learning by, as I said, learning to persevere, learning to work well with others, to problem solve. They're learning music, they're learning art, and that spans across all disciplines.
You're very musical. It has been a passion of your life.
Yes.
But tell me what these children get out of it.
There's so much talk about STEM, and STEM is great. Science, technology, engineering, math. But what we're concentrating on is creating the whole child and helping create the well-rounded little educated child. And music is that extra piece. That's the piece that brings it all together. It's so important to start children at a very young and early age to to help them to feel that creativity, to learn to be creative, and to open the door and give them the opportunity to be creative. And that's what we do. That's what we do at Kids Orchestra.